Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily Gold Podcast. My guest today is Jeb Handwerger of GoldStockTrades.com. Jeb, really interesting action in the precious metals complex today, and what I'm referring to is we're seeing a lot of strength in the miners, despite the fact that the metals are pretty weak. And just let's start off with the gold stocks. Gold was down quite a bit today. Well, I guess not that much in percentage terms, but if you look at GDX, I don't know about you, but that looks like a pretty obvious bullish hammer to me. And coming after 4 or 5 days of decline, it looks to me like this very well could be a short-term bottom.
Yeah, well, today was a really interesting action today. We opened up, on the GDXJ, we opened up much 35.81, and then it went down in the morning after the European Central Bank committed to support Greece, and we saw a reversal in the middle of the day, and we closed with the GDXJ pretty close to the high of the day, and pretty close to the opening of the day. So it seemed like today might have been a shakeout, and a possible a turning point of this recent 5-day decline, and the divergence which you were mentioning. What's very interesting to note, while gold and silver were down today, and that the miners, the juniors closed down, they closed down considerably less than the metals themselves, showing some relative strength and outperformance today. And we're seeing a shrinking of the divergence between the miners and its underlying bullion counterparts in both silver and gold. And the charts are setting up to, the individual stock charts in the miners, especially the juniors, silver juniors and the gold juniors, are really looking very powerful. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, and let's just touch on that a little more. There was a comment you made to me about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago about how you were just seeing that any material weakness in the equities was being bought, and we've not to repeat myself, but if you just look back the last 4 trading days, um, even though the net result has been negative, if you look at those 4 trading days, 3 of those days, including today, the market closed. It erased its intraday losses and basically closed near the high of the day. So, that I think that's very bullish when you're not seeing the weakness sustained. You're seeing basically big money is stepping in to buy the weakness. And okay, I'll just do a pitch for myself here, but in one of my recent editorials, I talked about just looking at the accumulation on GDX or GDX especially, both on a weekly and daily time frame. There's been a huge surge in accumulation the last couple weeks. So I mean, I think it's a very bullish signal.
Yeah, and one of the things is that when we have this divergence between the miners and the bullion, the long-term investors are beginning to have taken advantage over the summer to accumulate mining shares, and it's going to be something very interesting to watch in the fall. And the reversals today, and the past 4 days, the past couple of months, actually, we've seen a lot of strength and increased interest in the miners, and a very strong basing pattern, and that's indicative of a major breakout move. So right now, I think we're going through a little bit of a consolidation that we've seen the past couple of days after making this major breakout, and we're creating a handle here for our next move. So any weakness or pullbacks, in my opinion, should be used as a buying opportunity.
And what's very intriguing to me is, particularly on the silver side. I mean, silver, the short-term chart over the last 4 weeks or so doesn't look too good. According to my chart here. It closed at 39.97. I don't know. Let's
Hmm.
see. It looks like just below $40. You know, it looks like silver could come down to, easily could come down to 37, 38. Uh, Obviously nothing severe there, but you look at the short-term weakness in silver. Silver's high was back at 49. Silver is $10 below that, so that's about 20% or so. Yet, if you look at a lot of the best performing silver stocks, and I know we're going to talk about companies in a different podcast, but well, let me just pull up the silver ETF, the SIL. That's not too far off its high. But then if you look at stocks like Endeavor Silver, I mean, that's basically, let's just compare it to the highs that the silver stocks made in April. I mean, you look at Endeavor Silver, it's basically trading right at the high. Fortuna Silver is not that much off of its high. I mean, Alexco is another one
Right.
that's not, it's only about 15% or so. I mean, First Majestic has kind of been it's been fairly weak the last week or so. But you look at a lot of these better performing and fundamentally sound silver companies. They in this kind of weak corrective period, the stocks have held up very, very well.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing is with the silver stocks themselves, the what's interesting is the smaller ones are doing like the Endeavor and the Alexco and some of the smaller ones are doing much better than some of the bigger ones like Pan American and Silver Standard. Um, and they're showing much more resilience even when the silver bullion showed weakness. So that's an interesting observation that the smaller silver plays are beginning to show some strength to the bigger silver plays, and that might be indicating that the juniors that are beginning to get more interest from institutional holders.
Okay, so final comment here, Jeb, as we close. This would be a time to accumulate positions if you're a investor in gold and silver stocks.
Yeah.
This is a time to put cash to work.
Yeah, well, in early August, I was a little bit concerned about the gold market, um, of at least buying into the gold market at those levels, because it needed some time to work off, close to a 30% gain from July lows. So I mean, it was an impressive, powerful move, and I was looking for a healthy pullback, a healthy consolidation, a shakeout. And the fundamentals and the technicals are all lining up to show that we may have a powerful fall in gold and silver mining equities.
And let me just powerful fall. You mean not a fall as in a decline. Powerful
No, no,
fall
a
as in
powerful
bottom.
move higher. Yeah, just discussing. The silver stocks are setting up, beautiful consolidations, cup and handle patterns, and we were discussing that earlier. And the mining stocks, the GDX, has made a significant breakout after basing for a year. So it's time for the miners to outperform. It's time for the miners to regain their luster.
Alrighty. Well, on that note, Jeb Handwerger of GoldStockTrades.com. We're going to be right back tomorrow with a podcast discussing specific companies. Jeb, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jordan. It's always a pleasure.